Hi everyone, the budget videos are back. I hope everybody has been doing good or the best that you can. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine, right? That's all we can tell ourselves right now. So, for those of you who are longtime subscribers, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad to be bringing back the budget videos, or I like to call them cash flow plan videos. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Basically, I talk about different things that will help you manage your household, whether that's your finances, picking out some easy meals for the family, or keeping your house clean and in order. So if any of those sound interesting to you, then please consider subscribing. Take a look at all of the playlists I have on my channel, and let me know if you have any questions or any video requests, and I'll be sure to take that into consideration. So what are we talking about today? The budget, or the cash flow plan for September 2020. I have not posted any budget videos for the last couple months. With everything that's happened, for those of you, you could be watching this years later, we are currently in a health pandemic. It was supposed to last 2 weeks, and it's lasted several months now. So within that pandemic, myself, I was laid off from my position. I was a group fitness instructor teaching Zumba, and I was also a after-school program counselor for the YMCA. So the same week that the schools closed, I lost my job. So that was in March. We're in September. We're just about to start September, and I hadn't been working. I finally was able to collect unemployment starting, I think it was May, when they finally back paid me for my unemployment. I've been on unemployment since then. But now, with the pandemic and everything that's happened, it was a good time for me to sit back and reflect and make some changes, and to look at our cash flow plan, and to look at our future financial goals and decide, where am I at? Where do we want to go? How are we going to get there? What needs to change? What can I change, and what can I not change? I got hired back on at Amazon, working at the Amazon warehouse, working in the sort center. I'm going to be working nights. I'll be working from 8:30 at night till 12:30, but it is a flex shift, so you could work an hour later. If you need a job right now, if you've been laid off and you're kind of like, hey, the job I had, they're not really hiring anyone, or they still can't open, and you're like, I just need to get back to work, Amazon is hiring. This is right around the time they start hiring for their peak season, so it's the time to get in. The application process is super simple. They don't require a resume. They don't even require a work history. As long as you're 18 years and older and you can clear a background check, you're hired. So that's kind of what's been going on. So I start September 1st. I'm starting at Amazon, and I will work there. Basically, it's a seasonal position. So the company could tell me at any time, hey, we're good. We don't need you anymore, which Amazon always needs people. Or I could even say, hey, you know what, thanks, it's not working out with my schedule anymore, I found something else, and we can break ties, no worries. You can always go back to Amazon 90 days after you leave. So this is why this will be my 4th time working for Amazon warehouse during the seasonal peak season, if you will. And this is one of the first positions I had with Amazon, so I'm going back to this position, which is the only area that offers part-time. So if you want full-time, they do 10-hour shifts 4 days a week, so you have to keep that in mind. I'll make a whole separate video. If you want, please leave a comment below or leave a thumbs up if you want me to go in more detail about the different positions and pay and all of that for Amazon, because like I said, I worked there. This will be my 4th time working for Amazon, and my husband did a work camping job with Amazon when we were traveling full-time in the RV. So that's Amazon's a great company if you don't mind doing warehouse work. First things first, I put our income on here before taxes, and that's just because I include our taxes in our necessities part of our budget, and that's just because I like to see how much are we actually paying in taxes. I go on the IRS website a couple times a year to make sure that we're claiming the right withholdings and stuff, because we want some type of a refund, but we don't want such a big refund, because we could be keeping more of our paychecks now. Also, Donald Trump, our president currently, has issued an executive order to put Social Security and Medicare taxes on hold for the rest of the year. Keep in mind, though, those would have to be paid back next year. So it's not really going to help people out unless they get a bill in place that forgives it and you don't pay it back at all. So for September, I'm still budgeting with the Social Security and the Medicare taxes coming out of our paychecks because, again, that's going to be up to the employers really if they're going to start doing that. And then if they do, that money's just going to go sit in savings because we might have to pay it back next year. And so I don't want to set ourselves up for failure there. So the first thing we do though is we budget out what's going on. So again, I'm transitioning from unemployment benefits to pay. So we're going to talk about that with the income here. You can see up here, these are every Friday for the month of September. My husband and I both will be getting paid every single Friday, so these are our paychecks. If you only get paid one day a month, you would just budget that one day a month. If you get paid twice a month, you would change these and budget twice a month. I do have a budget template on Etsy if you would like to purchase it. I will be updating them. The previous budget template also had the ability to budget by percentages. That's where you see these blackout lines. We are not going to focus on budgeting by different percentages currently because we have some other goals that we're trying to reach, and that just would not allow us to do it. Okay, so the first thing here, when I budget out the month, is I actually budget each paycheck first, and then that gives me my monthly number to put in the monthly budget. So it's kind of like reverse engineering in a sense. So my husband works 40 hours a week at $20.54 per hour. So that's what you see here before taxes. His overtime is currently averaging about 8 hours a week, and that's time and a half, so it's $30.81 per hour. Now, before the pandemic hit, he got closer to 20 hours a week of overtime, and now it has cut back significantly to 8, but hey, he's still getting some overtime. The paycheck of the 4th, he did not have any overtime. We actually did a camping trip right before school started and all of that, so he does not have overtime for that. However, this next paycheck, this past weekend, he actually worked Saturday and Sunday, so he'll basically be getting the 2 days worth of overtime in one paycheck. And I actually think Sunday they actually did 10 hours, so this actually might be a little bit higher when we get to that week. And then these represent the 8 hours of overtime. Myself, this first paycheck is basically, I have my unemployment benefit. The 11th will be my last unemployment, and then I'll have like 2 or 3 days of work. I think I actually need to take a day off of here because that first week I think I budgeted 3 days, but I actually think I'm only getting 2 days because they're more like training days. So I might have to update this, but again, we will do that as we get there. We'll update that as that week comes along. These are kind of like estimates, and then we go back every week to update the real numbers. And then once the unemployment is officially gone, my schedule is for 4-hour shifts, so 20 hours a week, 5 days a week. So $300 a week. So obviously this is less than my unemployment, but I have to get off of unemployment. And if that means I make a little bit less for now, that's okay, because I also know that a lot of times, like I mentioned, Amazon will actually have me work 5 hours instead of 4 hours, so this is most likely going to increase. As well, Sundays, I do plan on picking up a second 4-hour shift, so doing a full 8 hours on Sunday. My self-employment, this consists of basically if I've made money teaching virtual Zumba classes, if I've done anything with my travel business, which actually I will make no commissions on travel this year, surprise there, or if anything from my YouTube channel. So currently my YouTube channel has dropped in revenue significantly as well, just because I haven't been posting, and that's, you get out what you put in. So everything from YouTube currently is just covering the stuff that my self-employment covers, my cell phone, my internet, my Zumba licensing, things like that. So I'm only going to have $44 left to bring over to our personal budget. So that's what we have here. That's usually paid out around the 22nd, so I just lined it up with the 25th here. The other income that we like to try to budget into our monthly budget is anything that we get back for cash back, interest in our bank accounts, and things like that. So our credit card, we usually average about $30 cash back. That's usually paid on the 6th. So again, I can't line it up with the 4th because it will be later, so I lined it up with the 11th. And then we usually earn, we've been earning about $8 a month on the interest in our checking or in our savings accounts, and that's usually paid out on the 26th. So I did line that up with the 25th, even though we'll get it like the day after. So that's kind of what we have. So for the month of September, we're looking at $6,028.96 worth of income before taxes, okay? Before taxes, you guys. So then coming on down, the first thing we like to put on our budget is paying ourselves first. You're going to notice that we are no longer adding to the emergency fund, and I have stopped my Roth IRA contributions. Our emergency fund, we officially, so in the bank, we officially have 3 months of our expenses, excluding taxes. Basically, if we were to lose our income, we could cover our basic necessities for 3 months. Part of that money is actually this month's bill. So we've worked our way up to be basically 1 month ahead on bills. So out of those 3 months, one is officially the emergency fund. The second one is actually all of September's bill money, so we can be a month ahead. And the third one is actually our vacation money for 2021, but it's in there. So if a true emergency happened, we could cancel the vacation and use that money. Now, we're going to stop contributing to that because we are going to start we have some more savings goals for vacation for next year. We're going to finish out those savings goals, but then we are going to tackle paying off my husband's truck. So the majority of my income is going to be going to pay off his truck. We should have it paid off hopefully in a year. So we'll talk about that more when I get down to the debt payoff. So anyway, so all we're going to contribute to our paying ourselves first moving forward for the rest of the year is we'll continue the 8% to Ricky's 401k, and that is 8% of his pay and is overtime. So we should be able, basically that does 8% automatically. I've highlighted this more in black because that comes out of his check automatically. And so it's 8% every week. So you can see here what we have. So total for the month, we should be able to still invest $341. Moving forward, for next year, for 21 and 22, we're actually going to lower that to 6%. Because again, we're going to focus on paying off the truck. Now, if we were following Dave Ramsey's plan, we would stop investing, and that 341 would go towards the truck, and that savings that we have in the bank, we would actually use all of it except for $1,000, and we would pay that towards the truck. I don't feel comfortable doing that after working our budget and working our plan and having our goals for so many years. Having at least 1 to 3 months in the bank before we tackle debt is what I feel comfortable with, so that's where we stand. And I've projected our financial retirement goals on a whole separate sheet down here, and I know that we need to invest a minimum of $300 a month for us to reach our target, and we need to be debt free when we retire. So when we lower this to 6% in the future, we will still be investing $300 to $350 a month, and so that we are good with to move forward with that. Giving, basically, we just have $5 a paycheck comes out of my husband's pay, and they go to 2 different things. We will be canceling that when all of the renewals come for the benefits for next year. We will cancel that for next year. And gifts are basically just for birthdays and holidays, that type of thing, or if we want to help out in our community and do care packages, which we've done in the past, or things like that, that's gift money there. So we're still going to be giving, just we're not going to be donating to the 2 things that we were donating to. We're just going to be doing it in a different way. We might be cutting back slightly on that though. So basically we just have $41.64 for gifts because this was money we actually just spent. So that we need to make sure we're paying for. We used it on our Discover card, and then again $5, so $20 for donations for Ricky's work. Now our necessities. So the idea when I used to do our percent-based budget, we were trying to keep our necessities under a certain percent. Right now, it just is what it is. So we're not even going to worry about the percentages right now. Again, this part in black, this is what's taken out of my husband's check automatically. So this just gives me that heads up. So federal taxes, basically, we get taxed after the 401k money comes out, right? So my husband has his pay, the 401 money comes out, and then we're taxed on that money. So we get that little bit of a tax advantage by doing that. So our federal taxes have been only like maybe 2.5%. Again, we claim different dependents as well because we have 2 children. We make under a certain amount of money. So we get these tax credits that we're kind of claiming now so that we don't pay as much taxes now. You'll notice these first two paychecks though are higher because my unemployment, I do have them taking 10% out of my unemployment to pay that tax so that hopefully we'll get a little bit of money back still and I won't owe money for having unemployment. Arizona tax is kind of the same deal. I think we spend about 1.4% in Arizona state tax. These two are a little bit higher because basically you add $4 to those to cover those were being paid from my unemployment. Medicare and Social Security, unemployment does not contribute to those, so those don't really change. But these are basically, the Medicare was about roughly 1.36%. Social Security is about 5.83%. And this is just average of what we're seeing. Your numbers might be different. The government has set percentages, right? So they have their set percentages of what they take out of your paycheck. However, yours will depend on whether you have 401. If you have 401k money taken out first, and then you're taxed on the balance, or you're taxed on the full amount. So that's why my percentages equal a little bit less. Now, if the executive order to get rid of these goes into effect this month, then we'll have a little over we'll have like $370 roughly of money that will not be going to these taxes. So we're just gonna put that in savings. If that's the case, we'll put that in savings and see what happens for 21. Because I do not want to spend that money and then in 2021 we have to start paying it back and then we don't have enough money to pay our bills, right? So you got to be a little smart about this. Now, if they change the rule and they say, hey, you get that money, you don't have to pay it back, then cool. Maybe we'll use it towards a home project or something. We'll see. We do have family life insurance through my husband's work, so that comes out to $22. Trash can's coming. That comes out to $22.36 for the month, basically $5.59 per paycheck. We also have him on long-term disability. He works in construction. It's a dangerous thing. People can get injured, people can die. That's why we have these insurances in place. And that's basically it's a percentages based off of his pay. It's about 0.3% or something like that. So $15 goes to his long-term disability. He does have regular life insurance and disability insurance through his employer up to a certain amount, and then this is for extra. We've put extra onto that, just so you know. Health insurance, we pay $87.80 per paycheck into our family insurance for our health insurance. So for the month of September, that will be $351. If we have a month with 5 Fridays, then we add another 87 and it ends up being like 400 and something. So far I have had to use the health insurance. I went to the ER. I was tested for COVID. Luckily it was negative. And I only paid like $11 out of pocket for that visit because I had to pay for the x-ray of my chest, my portion of the x-ray for my chest. Now I have had a mammogram and an ultrasound done that I don't know how much I will owe out of my portion yet. So I have put the facility told me that I would owe like 400 and something, so I did put that in savings, so when that bill comes due I will pay that. So I'll let you guys know if I have to pay that or if his insurance pays it. I'm not sure yet. And then we all had our wellness check, which was covered. We get one free wellness check for the year, and so we did that. And then Ricky and I did have some blood work done. We tested our cholesterol, our blood sugar, hormone levels, and then that information was sent to his employer, and we should be earning a little bit of kind of like a reward, a cash back money reward for having good health. However, Ricky's cholesterol was actually a little high, so he will not earn that amount for his cholesterol. So that brings me, we'll get down to the grocery meal service here in a second. So we got some changes coming up for that. So our mortgage is currently $1,040.34 per month. This includes our principal and interest on the loan. It includes the private mortgage insurance, which is about $30 a month, and we just have that for the next couple years. And then we have homeowners insurance, which I actually just switched our coverage. So this number, we might see a decrease, maybe $10 a month or something. We'll see if that happens. And then our property tax. So that's all combined into this one bill. This is actually $100 less than we were paying because we did refinance. I'm going to be sharing our net worth progress report update for you guys, and you're going to see how the pandemic and how the refinance and everything has affected our overall net worth in another video, so stick around for that. Again, you can kind of see now which paycheck am I going to take this out of. If you used to watch, I used to pay for the mortgage out of the last two paychecks. Now I'm paying for them out of the first two paychecks, and again, this is not September's mortgage payment. This is actually October's mortgage payment. So you can see I'm gradually getting ahead week by week, and that's how this paycheck budget helps you do that, okay? So our next thing is our grocery meal service budget. So before, I used to budget about $400 a month for groceries, and we would end up spending another $200 a month on eating out. So altogether, we were spending about $600 a month on food. I've increased our food budget in general to $800, and we're not eating out. Like I mentioned, Ricky's cholesterol was a little high, so we're going to see if we can stop eating out and start eating better. So I have signed up for 2 different meal service. One is Yumble. It's actually a kid meal service, and it's actually already prepared meals, and they're healthy meals, but they're meals that kids will eat. So I'm excited about that. We get our first delivery on Wednesday, and I ordered an entire week for 2 kids. So that's like $100 a week right there. Then I signed Ricky and I up for Home Chef because they have started oven-ready meals, you guys. The whole point of a meal kit service for me is to make things simpler. So it's simplified things in 2 ways. One, it's being delivered to my house in the correct portion size, but 2, with the oven-ready kits, it's prepared in the sense that all of the chopping is done. If you have a rice or a pasta in that dish, it's already cooked. And all you're doing is throwing it into one pan, and they actually provide the tin pan, and you just pop it in the oven. I do not like cooking. Everything I make is usually in the crock pot. So this is going to help us to eat at home and eat a good meal that would feel like we're going to a restaurant, but it's just in there. So I have signed up for the Home Chef as well. So we're going to have, we're going to have to play with our budget here and see if $800 is enough, because these services, you guys, they're not cheap. I think our Home Chef is going to be about $60. The Yumble is $100. What's left will be whatever we're going to get at the grocery store. So our Home Chef, that's only for 3 meals out of the week. But Fry's, our local Fry's, or if you have a Kroger in your area, they started doing the Home Chef kits at the store. So I actually did purchase 2 more oven-ready kits. So I have 5. We get our Home Chef delivery tomorrow. So I will have 5 oven-ready meals, and I'm excited about that. Mostly also not just for our health and for our simplicity of it, but because I'm starting to work nights again. So I don't want to have to cook 50,000 meals, right? So I'm super excited about that. So that's one change here. Another thing to consider when you're making your budget, you guys, is that it's not just about paying the bills, but it's about budgeting for your priorities. And if eating out or having a chef is a priority, budget for that. If having a house cleaner is a priority, budget for that. Have no shame in how you spend your money, because it's personal finance. All right, so for the month of September, we're not going to budget anything for home maintenance, which recently had been home projects. We had made some home improvement projects over here. We're not going to do anything for personal care or household. I have stocked up on toilet paper and paper towels and things like that, so we shouldn't need anything in that regard. Personal care, this would just be if that medical bill comes, if I have to pay for that medical bill, then I would plug that back into personal care. Otherwise, I don't foresee anything for September. Now, Ricky's cell phone is normally $35 a month, but you can see I budgeted $70 because that was my last bill that I was paying the month that it was due. I only had the money like a week before it was due, and I want to get ahead on that one. So if you look here, we're going to be using the 11th and the 18th. Sorry, for the groceries, we have basically $200 a week is what we're budgeting for our food. So the cell phone is due on the 17th. You can see here I put the 17th, so it's due on the 17th. So I need to make sure I cover that. I can't pay it out of the 18th or I would already be late, right? We don't want to be late. So out of the 11th, I'm paying the bill that's due on the 17th. Out of the 18th, I'm putting the money aside for October, okay? Because now, as you look down here, the rest of these bills, with the exception of gas, all of this right here is paying for October, not September. I already have September money in the bank. So our solar is $81 a month. I think this will be our first month where we don't have an additional electric bill on top of it. Normally, during the summer, our solar panels produce enough electricity, enough power, that we actually send power back to the grid, so to speak, so we don't owe anything for electric. However, with school being out and me not working, and we had a portion of time where Ricky was on furlough, so everyone was home, we used way more electricity than we did the year before. So we were still paying $81 for solar, but then we were paying like $45 for electric as well. So this is the first month that the solar panels finally made more power than what we've used. So that's nice. But things should start evening back out once things get back to normal, hopefully. Our water, sewer, trash is $55, and you can see our due dates here. So our solar is due on the 7th. Again, that's the 7th of October. So we'll have the money ready on the 18th. Water, sewer, trash is due on the 10th of October, so we'll have the money on the 18th. Ricky's truck payment is due on the 6th of the month, and we're going to have to use money from the 11th and the 18th to have that money ready. My car payment is due on the 5th of next month, and so we'll have that money on the 11th. It'll just sit in the bank until it's automatically taken out. Gas, we're budgeting $240. This might go up because I will be driving to the Amazon warehouse, and it's about 30 minutes away, so we'll see. But we're going to keep it at $240, so $60 a week. That's enough for basically 2 fill-ups a week. So again, we might need to add another $60 or so, depending on, my car gets a lot better gas mileage than Ricky's truck, so we'll see how that goes. Ricky is also working a little bit closer, so we haven't spent the $240 every month, so I'm going to keep it at $240 and we'll see how that goes. Our insurance, this is for our car and our truck. Because we still have a loan on both of them, we have to have full coverage. And I had an accident a few years ago that was still on there, so our insurance is a little high. I'm hoping this will gradually go down, but this is for 2 vehicles, so $236.63 every month. And this is due on the 28th. It's actually 28th of September, so this is one bill. I'm not a full month ahead, but we'll have the money on the 4th, so almost a month ahead of when it's due. And what I've been doing is, once I have the money for the bill, I've actually been putting it in our savings account because it earns a higher interest in there, and then the week that it's due, I transfer it into our checking account for it to come out automatically. The rest of this, we don't have anything going on. We're not doing any commission job money for our daughters right now. We're not doing chores. Ricky and I are not anticipating on spending any extra money. However, Ricky likes to sneak stuff in there randomly, so we'll see what happens by the end of the month. Maintenance, the car and the truck are good. We had oil changes, so we're good with that, and the registration was just paid in June, so we don't need to worry about that, so that's good. Now the motorcycle insurance, we actually paid the whole year. It's only like 80 something dollars for the whole year for the motorcycle, because that is already paid off, so we just have liability on that. And that we paid last month, we paid for the whole year, so that one's all caught up. Now we're coming down to our extra debt payoff. Okay, so our debt is the truck, the car, and our mortgage, right? We have, since we refinanced the house, we have been making a minimum of $200 extra towards the principal of our mortgage loan. What we'll be doing in the future, like I mentioned, we'll be focusing on paying, we're going to be doing 100 extra towards my car. So that 300 will just be extra. That will be a set amount extra on those items. And then anything extra over what we have of our budget from after investing and paying our bills and having a little bit of fun, we will put towards the truck. Okay, so you'll have to see how that progresses after the next couple of months. But as of right now, we're still putting $200 towards the mortgage. Again, our mortgage was lowered by $100, so that was easy. We were already paying that $100 anyways, and we were already paying an extra $100. So that $200, we've been paying that extra $200 basically on the mortgage since we started it in June of 2018, or August of 2018, I think is when we started our first mortgage. Now fun, usually we have eating out money, but again, we're not eating out anymore, at least for the month of September, because we're going to focus on cooking at home. We normally would do some movies or events with the girls, but again, we're not going out to the movies. We did a camping trip last month, and we actually rented a boat at the lake last month, so we splurged last month because I knew school was starting and I was going to go back to work, so we're kind of like, hey, let's have a hoopla before we get back to it. So we're not going to be budgeting anything for September. And our date nights have been basically put on pause since we are no longer members of the YMCA that was doing the date night, that provided the daycare or the babysitting for us to do date nights. So these are on pause for the time being. We do have a PlayStation monthly fee, and this is so my daughters can play online with their friends. So this has been really good for them. They have their cousin is on there. They have another friend that my daughter grew up with is on there. My oldest daughter has a friend from school that's on there, so they've been able to stay in contact, and they've made some new friends. So this is kind of the only social thing that they've been having, so that will stay. Netflix will stay. We don't have any other cable or anything like that. We just have basically internet, which my self-employment pays for, and then Netflix. So these are due on so Netflix is the 26th of September. So again, the insurance and Netflix are the only two that we have left really to pay that were in that same month. So that's due on the 26th, and then this is due on the 1st. So before, what we used to do is we used to put, like, say 5% or 10% of our money into savings first, every single paycheck, and then we would focus on the bills. As you can see, we didn't do that this time. We focused on the bills first. Now the money that we have left over, we have $1,023 left. We're actually putting this in our vacation savings. Like I mentioned, we have a few trips. We have 2 trips next year for 2021. We have 2 trips. One, we have all the money already put aside because our trip from 2020 was canceled. So we've just saved that money for next year, and we added our second trip because we usually do 1 trip a year anyway. And so we're going to start plugging away with putting that money aside. So basically the next 3 months we are going to put into savings. After that, we are tackling this truck. We will have the truck paid off within 1 year. We will have both vacations paid for. We will have Ricky's truck paid off in 1 whole year. And then everything from the truck, this payment, this $369 payment, and in the future, the $1,000 extra payment would be going then towards the car, and then we'd get my car paid off in additional 6 months. So basically in a year and a half, we should have Ricky's truck and my car paid off. Then all of that money, actually, we'll reward ourselves with saving up for another trip for 2022, and then we will put all that extra money towards the mortgage. So the goal is that we will actually have our mortgage paid off in the year 2025. I want to say that again. We will have our truck, our car, and our mortgage paid off by the year 2025. In 5 years, this is our plan. This is our gazelle intense plan. We will have everything paid off and we will still have taken our yearly trip. Literally life changing, okay? Once I started doing the zero-based budget and I started doing a budget every paycheck, this is where everything started to make sense. This is where everything started to fall in line. This is how we were able to get ahead, not by 1 week, by a month almost. So this is how you do it, is with these budgets. The other thing that changed my life is doing the yearly budget. I do the yearly budget, so I have 2 more years. I have 21 and 22 planned out, and that's kind of how I can see how we're going to pay the truck off, how we're going to pay the car off, and stuff like that, because I can see the cash flow. I can project the cash flow for that time. As the year goes on, I plug in the true numbers, so I can go back and reflect on this and say, hey, you know what, we really need to increase our grocery budget. We're actually spending more than I thought we would, so that's good. But also, this shows me, for September, I have some numbers here that might come up. We might get another stimulus check. I don't know yet. So that's not on my budget for the month, but it's on the yearly budget. Just in case it does happen, I have a plan for that money already. Same thing, that money from mine and Ricky's health exams. If we get it in September, I already have a plan for where it's going. So this helps us just plan that out. Let me look, I'm going to show you 21 real quick. Okay, so this is with Ricky getting a raise. This is his projected raise for his apprenticeship program. This is with me adding that 4 hours onto Sunday. And then plugging everything at the truck. So you can see here, we're going to be paying an extra almost $2,000 a month on the truck. We should have the truck paid off by July of 2021. Then look what happens. No more truck payment. Let me bring this over. No more truck payment right here. See, no more truck payment. We bring it down. And now that extra money goes to the car. Okay? So that's what the yearly budget helps you do. It helps you project everything out. And that way you can stay motivated and you can see, okay, if I were to do this instead of that, how would these affect us and how would that happen? So I'm super excited to be back with the budget videos. I know during the trying times the last couple of months, it probably would have benefited a lot of people for me to show you still that we were budgeting, but you know what? I had my own stuff to deal with, but now it's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you will join me every single Friday as we're going to do our budget by paycheck. And we're going to see what changes, what doesn't change, and we're going to make sure we kind of stay on that plan. I'm going to keep you updated on our net worth progress report, that's coming out. And if you would like me to maybe budget out your numbers on video, you can stay anonymous. But if you would like the idea of me budgeting out other people's budgets so you can also see how I would cash flow different scenarios, then give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below, and we'll see if we can make it happen. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.